Welcome to this explainer on government policies. Today, we're going to demystify those abstract, invisible rules that silently dictate, well, almost every single thing we do. Now, I know the word policy might instantly bring to mind dusty textbooks or super dry political debates, but honestly, these are literally the hidden frameworks that turn total chaos into order. We're going to break down exactly what these are, how they work, and why they absolutely matter to the fundamental structure of a functioning society. So let's dive right in. Think about the last time you bought a piece of clothing. Maybe a cool new shirt or a pair of jeans, and you got home and realized, I need to return this. If you checked your receipt, it probably had a clear 15 or 30-day window for returns, right? Well, that right there is a policy in action. It's a rule designed to guide you through a transaction with confidence, while also protecting the business. We interact with these kinds of rules constantly, often without even realizing the structured environment they create around us. You can kind of think of these policies as lighthouses. Picture a ship navigating through really dark, unpredictable waters. Without a lighthouse, that ship is completely lost. It has no orientation and it risks crashing right into the rocks. Policies stand firm and strong, showing direction to the ships in the sea. They provide clear, steady guidelines that show where a government, a business, or even just a family is putting its efforts. They act as that beaming light indicating the ultimate focus and destination. Zooming out to a national level, a government's absolute main purpose is to protect the fundamental rights of its people. And to pull off this massive task, the government creates a specific set, or system, of principles to guide decisions and actions across the entire country. These official blueprints? That's exactly what we call government policies. They're the foundational light guiding the nation to safeguard citizens, make sure practices are fair, and keep the whole economy running smoothly. But it's not just big government. These frameworks exist at every single level of society. On a micro level, your family might have a specific practice or culture of eating dinner together every day, or maybe a strict rule about sleeping early on weekdays. Believe it or not, that is a policy. Scale that up to a business, like that 15-day clothing return window we just talked about, and it ensures a baseline of fairness for customers. No matter the scale, they both do the exact same thing. They give people the right direction and help them make the right decisions in a shared space. To really get why these are so valuable, let's consider the alternative. What would happen if there were absolutely no policies, no rules, and no regulations? Just zero boundaries in a household. What if businesses could just randomly change prices or reject all returns? What if the government provided literally no operational guidelines at all? Well, without these guidelines, even a simple morning commute would just devolve into absolute chaos. Imagine if there were no traffic rules, no stoplights, no speed limits, not even a standardized side of the road to drive on. People would just drive however they wanted, which would instantly lead to severe accidents and massive jams on the roads. The simple presence of policies takes that potential for total disaster and turns it into a structured, functioning society where we can all interact safely. Moving on to Section 1, Case Study, the School Bus Transport Policy. Let's look at how an institution like the Novo Leader School handles things. When they create a transport document, they don't just politely suggest the kids ride the bus safely. No way. They build a comprehensive system to mitigate risk. They break this large objective down into categorized rules covering basically every possible scenario. We're talking clear parameters for travel logistics, safety, rules for making route changes, fees, and the school's rights. Breaking a broad goal into these highly specific, categorized rules is a true hallmark of a solid policy. Let's map this out as the actual physical journey of a student taking the school bus. Step 1, under logistics. The bus won't wait more than 2 minutes, so students literally have to arrive at the designated stop 10 minutes early. Step 2, once they're on board, safety protocols kick in. Students must stay seated with their feet on the ground. Step 3 is on the administrative side. Transport fees have to be paid 6 months in advance. Every single step of that student's journey is anchored by a very specific rule. But you know, the true heart of policymaking lies in protection. Take this strict safety protocol, for example. Kids below 10 years of age must be dropped off and picked up from their stop by a parent or family member. That goes way beyond basic logistics, right? That is about active protection. It beautifully illustrates how policies are intentionally crafted to shield and safeguard the most vulnerable members of our community. All right, let's zoom out for Section 2, the big picture, government and the economy. It's fascinating how everyday scenarios map directly to macro-level frameworks. For instance, a 30% tax on salaried income, that's the direct result of a national income tax policy. A tradition of family outings on weekends is a family practice shaping home life. When you grab a product off the shelf and see a maximum retail price printed right on the box, that's the Consumer Goods Act ensuring economic fairness. And major historical shifts, like the withdrawal of the 1,000 rupee note in India, those are executed under massive policies like demonetization. Everyday rules are so deeply intertwined with these vast national frameworks. Parsing out fact from fiction with these policies reveals some pretty cool insights. First, it's a huge misconception that policies are only for political or government entities. That is completely false. Families absolutely have policies in the form of their distinct cultures and daily practices. That's a true statement. On the economic side, historical details really matter. For example, during that historical demonetization event we just mentioned, it's false to say the 100 rupee note was withdrawn. It was specifically the 1,000 rupee note. The specific details of a policy totally dictate its real-world impact. Wow, we have definitely covered a lot of ground today, from the micro rules of a family dinner table to the logistics of a school bus route, all the way up to national economic laws. But the absolute biggest takeaway here is that policies are simply tools created by people. So I'll leave you with this. Is there something you would like to change about a policy in your life? Whether it's a household rule, a school regulation, or a law in your local community, they can be analyzed, evaluated, and reshaped. Keep that in mind the next time you bump into a structure governing your day. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking questions, and I'll catch you next time.